If you can, open up your TouchStone account on another monitor. So open up another tab and drag it over to the other screen. Scott, same with you. Do you have a second monitor?
Sorry, I'm not that high tech. I just have
No,
one
that's
monitor.
okay. So with you, Scott, I'll probably have you, so open up a second tab up in the top here, and let's see if we can figure out how you're going to toggle between, it's usually pretty easy, but toggle between your TouchStone account and this presentation, because I'm going to walk you through steps to download the strategic target process, the planning process, and then we're going to
Okay.
edit it, walk through it. Okay, so did you get your TouchStone account opened on another screen?
Yeah, I've got it opened up somewhere on another. I can toggle back and forth. That's no problem.
Okay, great. So everybody log into their TouchStone account. Once here, I want you to go to the four functions underneath the dashboard tab and select, it might say guiding the business. You'll notice that mine says strategy and management, but it'll be the first one. It might say guiding the business. If you've changed the name to strategy and management, it'll say, or you can change it to whatever you wanted to, but select the top button here, strategy and management or guiding the business. And you're going to come to the what we call the guiding the business, or the key function for your strategic processes, your management processes. Okay, just let me check in with people. Kyle, were you able to, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Scott, are you there?
Yes, I've got it open.
Okay. First of all, let's check to make sure that you haven't well, actually, if you go up to add from process library, you'll see an option called general processes. So select general processes. And this is a set of processes, some of which are already written. They're primarily there to help you identify processes that you might need in this key function of your business. So there is a set of processes for each key function of the application. There are sales and marketing processes for getting the business. There are administrative, HR, IT, financial processes under running the business, and then there are also a few process names under doing the business for operations and customer service. So these are all of the processes just for strategy and management. They are, whenever you go to the general process library, all of these processes are going to be in alphabetical order. So let's scroll down till you get to the S's, and what I want you to click on is put a check mark beside the process that says strategic planning. If it's grayed out, it means that you've already downloaded it, which is fine. It's just you've done this step already. Once you've put a check mark beside it, click the save button, and that will download the process to your TouchStone account. Kyle, tell me when you've got that done.
It's done. I'm looking at it.
Okay. And Scott, success.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't have it open. Yeah, if you want to just share and pull it.
Yeah, I got it to come through my phone finally, but then I'm not logged on, and if you gave me the login, I don't know what I did with this, so I'm just coming in here.
Okay.
And Rebecca, hold on, let me.
Hi.
Oh, hey, Rebecca. So have you been able to hear me through the last few minutes, Rebecca?
Yes.
Okay, so have you been able to download the strategic planning process into your TouchStone account?
I'm actually with Scott, and I am not logged in separately. I'm sitting next to this screen.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got it logged in. I didn't see where you had where did you get those general processes? I'm just not seeing it, perhaps.
Up here, see it at the what's on your screen right now, Scott?
Oh, add from, okay. Oh, I see it. Okay.
Add from process library and then select general process. You won't see these libraries. We're actually, what I'm showing you on my screen is my account, and I have alliances that have their own process libraries. Like this is a construction company that has their own, or a construction.
Yeah.
Anyway, you'll only see general processes. So yeah, and if you select general processes, you'll see all of the processes that are related to the key function that you're in. And we're in strategy and management, or guiding the business. I've changed the option. So I just want to confirm that. So make sure that everybody's downloaded this process called strategic planning. You'll notice here in my example, well, here's the actual one here.
I downloaded it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that it's there, you should see it. After you've downloaded it, you should see it under the strategy key subfunction. Go ahead and click on it. You should see a blue strategic planning process. Go ahead and click on it. Kyle, you got that?
I'm hunting for the link. I know I missed it, I guess. Let's see, strategic planning process. Where did you find that at? I'm okay. I'm sitting here. Yeah, I'm at the same screen. Sorry.
Okay, great. And Scott, were you able to click on it?
Yes, I've got it pulled up.
Okay. Now, under the strategic planning process has several process tools. It's not just one document that says how to strategic plan. In fact, there are a series of different processes. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Let me just. This is one that that I pulled down earlier, and I made a small change. So let me just. I'm going to go back and do exactly what I just told you guys to do. I'm going to show you how if you ever want to delete a process that's in your system, you can just grab it here and drag it and put it on top of this little delete button. And you'll see how the delete button turns green. Well, if you're not looking at my screen, you won't be able to see it, but the delete button turns green, and I can select it and it'll give me the option to delete the process. This is a good thing to do if you're ever downloading a process from the process library, just to look at it. Just a quick note, you'll notice there's a button right here that says select all in the process library, and then you could download everything that's here into your process library. Don't do that, because you're going to fill up your TouchStone account with a bunch of stuff that you don't really want. Do one at a time, or give us a call and we can tell you what the processes are. But I would suggest, if you're ever interested, draw one down, have a look at it by clicking on it, and then if you don't like it, then delete it. Okay, so I just drew down the strategic planning process, so mine would look exactly the same as yours. First thing I want you to do is organize the process tools. So if you could take the under the process tools on the left side, there's a column on the left side, and it says process tools, and under process tools it says work plans. And you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different work plans: meeting rhythm, meeting agendas. We're just going to reorganize these. So what I'd like you to do is drag watch the video first and make it the first one. Put it above meeting rhythm. And then I'd like you to drag create a vision and put it underneath watch the video first. And then grab create a strategy plan and put that underneath create a vision. And then we should have meeting rhythm, tracking meeting agendas, and track and adjust. Okay. So
Create a vision and then meeting rhythm.
Yeah, so it'll be watch the video first, create a vision, create a strategy plan. This is my OCD, guys. It's not critical that you do it this way, but that's typically the way I like to write a process, is have it in sort of in the order that you would do it. So
and then yeah, I think that's what he said.
Got it, Scott? Is that you have it, Scott?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have it.
Kyle, good?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. So click the work plan called Watch the Video First. So on the left side, click the work plan that says Watch the Video First, and up will pop the work plan. And remember, a work plan is the step-by-step sequential flow. Do this, then do that, then do this, then do that. Watch the Video First is it's sort of like the overall process. So when you're creating your first strategic plan, you're going to, first of all, number one, watch the video. Then number two, you're going to create your vision, create your strategic plan, create your meeting rhythm, create your meeting agendas, and then you're going to track and adjust. And you will notice on the left side that there is a work plan for each one of these numbered options. So there's a work plan for create a vision, there's a work plan for creating a strategic plan, another work plan for, and we're going to walk through these in a minute. You're not going to do this now, but I would like you to do it sometime in the next couple of days. If you right click, if you left click on click this link, it'll open up, but you can also right click it and say open link as a new tab. The nice thing about right clicking on a hyperlink and opening up in another tab is that you don't lose, you don't exit TouchStone. So you stay in TouchStone and you don't exit that. So that's the first thing I want you to do after our session today, before you write your strategic plan, is watch this video. This video is an hour-long presentation done by the owners of Infusionsoft. Infusionsoft is a customer relationship management application. It's the acronym for that is CRM. It's a CRM application that we use here at TouchStone. Clay Mask, who's the owner of Infusionsoft, did this really good presentation on strategic planning, and I repurposed it for this process. And it's a very good video. I think Kyle, you and Scott are familiar with Michael Gerber, and Michael Gerber actually sits on the board of Infusionsoft and was very instrumental in helping those guys develop their strategic vision and create a really good plan. So it's just a really good video. It's one of the better ones I've seen, and Clay, I really have a lot of respect for this company. So this is just going to give you a lot of context. Another thing you can do, under the uploaded files, over on the underneath the process tools below, if you scan down below the work plans, below the checklist, below the scripts, you'll see an option there called uploaded files. And in the uploaded files box, you'll see eMyth booklet on your strategic target. If you click this and click view file, it's going to download the eMyth book. You'll notice if you happen to be watching mine, you'll notice that it's going to download the eMyth booklet to your computer. This is a PDF file. If you open this and print it, it's an excellent. This is basically the document or the book that we used when I was an eMyth consultant. This is the booklet that we used in our consulting meetings to help clients develop their strategic planning vision, develop their vision. So this is a really great supplement to that video and to what we're going to be doing today. You'll see that this is 9 pages long. It's just really good. And in fact, there's a really great section in here where they're talking about what a vision is like. And he talks about, this is probably a good time for me to mention this too. When you're creating a strategic vision, there are, people think of this thing, mission statement, and we write a mission statement, and it doesn't ever really serve much value. The idea of having a strategic vision is to communicate your goals. It's about really writing a document that's very real, very authentic. You're basically announcing to the world, to your wife, to your husband, to your partners, to your customers, to your vendors, you're broadcasting where you want to get to. If you think about if you want to take a vacation, I mean, I was just down in Arizona golfing with a bunch of buddies from Vancouver and Toronto. I grew up in Canada, so I didn't just wake up on Wednesday morning and fly down to Vancouver or fly down to Arizona and expect all those guys to show up. I mean, this took tons of planning. I came up with the idea. It was my idea to get my buddies together and go golfing. So I came up with the idea months ago, and we we picked some golf clubs and we picked a destination and we picked a VRBO house where we wanted to stay. We created all these plans, and they were all around this vision that I had of getting my buddies together for 4 or 5 days to play golf where it's nice and warm for them because they're coming from colder climates. So my vision, my strategic plan, for lack of a better word, for that golf trip would have been to get my best friends together for 5 days in a warm climate to play golf at 4 different golf clubs and not make it too expensive if we could keep it under, say, $1,500 a piece. So that's a strategic plan for a golf vacation. If you don't have a strategic plan, it's very hard to get to where you want to get to. I wrote a huge blog piece on this, on if you don't know where you're going, how are you ever going to get there? Because once I created this understanding of where I wanted to get to, I could start breaking it down and saying, okay, well, we're going to need a VRBO, a vacation rental where we can, and we're going to need 4 bedrooms because there are 4 of us, and we're going to need we'd like a pool and a hot tub, and so all of a sudden, the actual particulars of the specific goal start coming into play as I start defining my goals and trying to achieve them. So your strategic plan, the vision that you have for your company needs to be like that. In the booklet that you're reading, if you're looking at my screen or if you've opened up this booklet, it's actually on page 4. They give a strategic vision of what Ray Kroc might have had for McDonald's when he was coming up with the whole idea of starting the McDonald's franchise. And what I loved about this, where is it? Oh yeah, this section right here, he talks about what his marketing plan is. And he says, McDonald's will be a distinctly American institution designed to serve all ethnic and economic classes. Although all types of people will be attracted to McDonald's, it will appeal primarily to families and children and to people wanting a quick, wholesome meal. He probably should have left wholesome out, but a quick, wholesome meal in comfortable surroundings for a low price. And this is perfect. We expect to see Chevrolets, pickup trucks, Rolls Royces, and bicycles in our parking lots. So, he's not going into huge demographic and psychographic and geographic detail. He's just saying something like, we're going to appeal to everybody. And so that's an important part of the strategic vision for a McDonald's organization. Okay. So I just wanted to let you know that that's there. And what I would highly recommend that you do is download this, open it, and print it. So I put this in here, that booklet in here, just for this meeting. So I'm going to actually remove it from the strategic planning process in our library when we finish today. So you guys are getting it just because I thought it'd be a good thing for you to have. Okay, so can we go back to TouchStone? If you did exit out and went went outside of TouchStone, can we click back onto TouchStone and click the process tool that says create a vision? So I'm going to assume that you've watched the video, that you've downloaded the book, read the book. Let's go to create a vision. And let me just do a quick check-in. Kyle, are you with me? Have you got the create a vision work plan open?
Yes, sir. I got the same
Okay.
page open.
Great. Scott, were you able to open Create a Vision?
Yes, have it
Okay,
open.
perfect. Any questions so far, guys and gals? Okay.
Nope.
Okay, great. Okay, so a vision. There are 3 points to your strategic vision, for lack of a better word. So by the way, your strategic vision, strategic planning is the process. The vision is a part of the process, because strategic planning is not only about coming up with a vision, but it's having a plan for how to actually achieve the vision. It's about having ongoing meetings about how well you're doing on achieving the vision. And it's about tracking and adjusting the goals and communicating those goals and communicating the progress. So those are all parts of a strategic planning process. So this first plan, this first work plan, this first part is about creating your vision. And you're going to get a lot of information on this in your eMyth booklet. I was just sort of showing you the one that was of McDonald's. Yours doesn't have to be quite so lengthy, but it really must have 3 parts. It must have purpose, it must have your purpose, it must have your values, and it must have your, what do we call it, mission, or your big, hairy, audacious goal. So a lot of times when I'm asking people, well, what do you want your business to look like in 5 years? They will say something like, well, I want to be the go-to guy for real estate investments in my county. And I say, okay, that's great. Tell me more. And he goes, well, what do you mean more? And I go, well, like, how many houses do you want to sell a year? What are your revenues going to be? How many agents do you have? How profitable will you be? How much money will you make? You want to answer questions like this. So at the very least, this and what you'll find in each one of these boxes is a sample purpose, a sample value, and a sample mission. So I'm going to walk through these. First of all, step number 1, context. Be very intentional about how you create your vision so that it can guide your strategic planning. Your vision consists of a purpose, a set of values, and a mission. Consider getting the book Beyond Entrepreneurship. This is a book by Jim Collins. You can get it on Amazon. It's called Beyond Entrepreneurship. I'm reading straight from the first task of the Create a Vision work plan. You just have to read chapter 2 of this book, Beyond Entrepreneurship. It goes into a description of purpose, values, and mission in great detail, a little deeper than what I'm going to give you. I'm giving you the shorthanded version. So purpose and values. Purpose and values are they go on forever. They're not really gonna change. It's who you are, or it's who you want to be. It's not like shooting for the moon. Your mission is probably going to change. When I first started doing eMyth Mastery Consulting, this was in the early 90s, I remember talking to Michael Gerber and his then wife, Eileen. I said, okay, I'm going to create a company with 50 eMyth consultants. And so I started negotiating this huge contract to have 50 eMyth consultants that was the part of my business. And then I realized that working with consultants is like herding cats. It's just insane. So after about a year, I said, what was I thinking? And my mission changed. Part of your strategic planning process is going to be having an annual meeting. And this annual meeting might be with yourself if you don't have like chief managers in your organization. It might be with your wife. Sometimes it's just by yourself, but you're going to sit down annually and you're going to reflect on what you've learned over the past 12 months. And you're going to compare it to what you set as your big, hairy, audacious goal, your mission. And you're going to say, like I said, what was I thinking? I don't want to have 50 consultants. That would be insane. And in the end, I ended up completely changing my mission. I went from being a consulting company to a software company. Now we do a little bit of consulting like right now. This is almost exactly the consulting meeting I gave my clients when I was an eMyth consultant. But for the most part, I'm a software company, and we really don't do any consultants. We leave the consulting up to Martin, for his clients. We would say, Martin, this is your focus. And by the way, if you want to work on this with Martin, if you haven't done it already, he can help you with this. So if you need help on identifying and understanding and answering some of these questions, Martin Holland will help you with that. So mission is something that sort of changes, but purpose and values don't. So what is purpose? You might make a note of this. There's a guy, I think I mentioned this in the webinar that you all attended a few weeks ago. What's the guy's name? Simon Sinek. Simon Sinek. If you go to YouTube and you search on Simon, S-I-N-E-C-K. Oops. Oh no, hold on. Stop. So if you go to Simon, S-I-N-E-K. Actually, if you go to Simon Sinek TED Talk, I think this is it. Right here, start with why, how great leaders inspire. This is a really good TED Talk. This guy's pretty interesting. Here's another one, find your why. Either of these would be really good. In fact, this is probably the one. Let me just, let me see if I can find this link and put it into, oops. Share, copy. Okay, I'm going to put this in the chat log of your control panel. So you should see in the chat box of GoToMeeting this YouTube link for Simon Sinek. This is really good for understanding your why. So purpose, why do you exist? Why did you start this business in the first place? It's probably something a little bit more than I wanted to get rich or I wanted freedom. There's probably a reason why you do what you do. You'll notice here that there's a sample purpose, and this is our purpose here. So we just give you a sample purpose. I'm giving you our purpose, values, and mission. So these are samples. What you're going to end up doing is you're going to answer these questions. Why? I mean, you don't have to answer every one, but see if you can come up with why you do what you do. I will tell you that the reason I do what I do is I want to change your life. In a nutshell, what I found with most business owners is that they don't have much life. They get completely overwhelmed by their business. And if you can actually create your processes and implement your processes and get people doing what they need to do, and be able to easily hold them accountable to what they do, and then hire managers to then hold them accountable to what they do, then I think I can actually get you to a point where you could maybe work 40 hours a year and have a profitable business and do whatever you want to do in your life. Or, maybe that's a little extreme, but my goal is to get you to that place where you can have the business of your dreams and have a fulfilling life. And so that's sort of what I decided up here, but then I made it a little bit more contextual. And I said, well, what I really wanted to do is I wanted to create a technology that makes process development and implementation easy for business owners, because I knew that implementing processes, developing and implementing your processes will bring that ultimate goal of creating a business that serves you. So I wanted to create a technology that makes it easy for you to do that, as well as professionals like Martin who are consulting with business owners so that small businesses can flourish and thrive. I mean, if your business is running like a machine, it's going to flourish and it's going to thrive, and so are you. So that became my purpose. So you want to write your own purpose. Any questions on purpose? Oh, wait. Did I mute you guys? Okay. No, attendee is self-mute. Okay, so you guys are muted, by the way. So if you want to talk to me, make sure that you unmute, because I can't hear you because you're muted. Self-muted and is muted. Okay, wait a second. Let me just self-muted. Wait. Okay, Scott, you're open. You good? And any questions on purpose?
Well, we unfortunately lost our internet connection for just a couple minutes.
Okay. Are you back? You're back on now, though, right? Kyle, how about you?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
Okay, and any questions about purpose?
No, sir. Just what you
Okay.
said. Need to run like a machine where I don't have to be here.
Yeah. So, but you want to figure out a little bit more about, because you could run a candy store like a machine, or you could run a real estate agency like a machine. So it goes a little bit deeper than that. Why is it that you do what you do? Okay, so let's go on to values. So values. Now, one of the things is, so values are basically what you hold sacred in your business, how you operate. And your set of values will be usually between 6 and 10 values. There's usually more than one, and if you don't really want to have 20, because it's not really easy to track 20. These are our values at Business Design Corporation. You can use ours, or you can use some of them, or you can completely recreate it. But what I want you to do in this Creative Vision work plan is I want you to click in here, and I want you to get rid of what we've got. I want you to type in your purpose once you've figured it out. And then I want you to change this so it reads something like our purpose, and then click save. And so now when people are onboarding, you're onboarding new employees, or when you're having planning meetings, you can always come back to what your purpose is. Okay, yeah, this is I'll get rid of this actual. Values, do the same thing here. I want you to either keep or edit these values, and then change this to our values, and then click save. So these are what we hold to be sacred in our company. We empower entrepreneurs. So my goal is to make sure that you guys achieve what you want to achieve. We do what we say, and we listen, we care, we serve. We practice open and real communication. This is often very difficult because we do tell the truth when we need to tell the truth. We face challenges with optimism. So one of the things that we often say is that every complaint, every challenge in your business is an opportunity. If you get a customer complaint, it's an opportunity to see something that you didn't do well that you could better upon. We check our egos at the door. Nobody comes into my office and is blustering about how great they are. Our goal is to be humble with each other and be humble with our clients. We innovate and constantly improve. Obviously, with a software company, you've always got to be improving. This is one of the most important things. We do the right thing. Every time we have a decision in our company, if it's a challenging decision, we ask ourselves, well, what would the right thing to do? What is the right thing to do? What would it be? And then we do the right thing. It's great having this as a value, because every time we come up with a challenging question, we just say, well, wait a second, what would the right thing to do be? And then finally, we believe in people and their dreams. I totally believe, if you told me that you wanted to create a real estate company with 3,000 agents, hey, I'm going to believe it. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I'm going to believe it. And it doesn't matter how you're going to do it. because I'll talk about that down here under mission. Because what you're going to do is if that's 3,000 agents in 7 years, well, we're only going to be focused on next year. So we can sort of create that big, hairy, audacious goal, and then we're going to start tracking our progress towards it. So again, what I want you to do is I want you to click on this button, come up with your values, and enter them in here, and then say our values and click save. Okay, create your mission. This is your big, hairy, audacious goal. What are you going to do in the next 3 to 5 years? What will your revenues be? How many customers will you be? How many projects will you sell? What would the average project value be? What do you intend to accomplish? This is an assumption, and this is, remember the part I said up here that purpose and values are enduring, and your mission is an achievable goal, but you know it might change. Your mission, come up with it, make it achievable. Don't be, I don't really believe this whole thing, shoot for the star and hit the moon. I don't really believe in that. I think make it achievable. If you think you can get to the moon, well, say it. Don't say, well, I'm going to get to the stars because I think I can get to the moon. I'm going to get to the moon. That would be your big, hairy, audacious goal. You don't actually have to know how you're going to achieve that. You're really just going to set the goal and say, okay, that's 5 years from now. So if you look at our mission here, and again, what I'm going to want you to do is go in here and write your mission, and then you're going to take this out and you're going to write in our mission, and you're going to get rid of this content and you're going to put your mission in. But our mission is to be one of the essential applications business owners need to easily plan and manage their businesses successfully, and to be recognized as one of the market leaders in this field among small business owners with 100,000 subscribers worldwide. That is huge. I mean, how am I ever going to do that? Doesn't matter, because that's my goal. And I'm going to revisit this in my strategic planning, my annual strategic planning meeting each year. And if it changes because I think, well, I don't need 100,000, I really only need 25,000, then I'm going to change it. Because remember, purpose and values are enduring, and your mission is something that can achieve. Okay, so creating your strategic plan. Let me come to this in a second, but let's talk about meeting rhythm. So any questions before I jump into meeting rhythm? Scott, any questions?
No, none at this point.
Okay, great. By the way, if you do have any questions, you're welcome to email them to me, or you can send me an email and say, let's set up a meeting to sort of either review your strategic plan or ask questions about your strategic plan. Okay, so if everybody could now click on meeting rhythm, the work plan over here called meeting rhythm. This is an idea. This is not necessarily what you have to do. We don't do all of these things, and we certainly don't do like 2 full days for an annual planning meeting. But let's just walk through this work plan. Context: when you have productive meetings to enable you to assess how you're doing in your strategic plan, how you're doing with your annual and quarterly priorities and your SMARTs. That's an acronym for what we'll see under here, under creating your strategic plan. That's goal setting. And in fact, I think Martin just put out a blog post on setting goals. You can make course corrections. You can identify priorities for the coming quarter and the year. You can give yourself space to think strategically and about the business, and to think intentionally about what you're trying to accomplish. Think about, we set this big, hairy, audacious goal under watch the video first. Now what you're going to do is you're going to have an annual planning meeting to say, okay, well, I want to have 1,000 agents in 7 years. Well, how many agents do I want to have in 12 months from now? So I don't have to think about 1,000 agents anymore. I'm going to say I want to have 5 agents 12 months from now. So that's what I got to start thinking about, not 1,000. Thinking about 1,000 is completely overwhelming if you only have 2. But if you want to have 5, that's doable. I can start believing in that. I can start understanding what I have to do to get 5. And then next year, if I get to 5, I can say, well, maybe I could get 20. And I know I figured out how I got 5, so maybe I can get 20. But right now, all we're doing is we're having an annual planning meeting, and the goal is to come up with 3 to 5 annual priorities. What are the 3, 4, or 5 most important goals that we need to do in the next 12 months? So this annual planning meeting typically takes place in November, December, or early January, and it's all about revisiting your strategic vision, revisiting what you learned over the last 12 months, and resetting goals for the next 12 months. And you're also going to set your goals for your first 3 months of this year. So if I was saying, okay, I got to get to 5 real estate agents in the next 12 months, where am I going to be at the end of quarter 1? Well, I might not have any new real estate agents. I might say to myself, one of my highest priorities for quarter 1 is to have a job description for a real estate agent. And in quarter 2, I'm going to have all of those processes written for the real estate agent, and I'm going to have some recruiting and hiring processes in place. So in quarter 3, I can actually hire those people, and maybe quarter 3, I train them, hire and train them. So in the annual planning meeting, and again, what you'll do is you'll click in here. Like, we don't do 2 full days when we do it. We do a full day. And we actually do it on site, but it's really fun to, if you wanted to, you could go to Hawaii and do this and write it off. But have an annual planning meeting to revisit your strategic vision and to set your goals for the year. And next, you're going to have quarterly planning meetings, and you're going to have 3 of these. Because you're having one of them here, you're going to have 3 more. And in our business, we only do half days. And we do it at the beginning of each quarter. And we basically, in this meeting, what we're going to do is we're going to look to see, what did we set? So January, February, March. At the end of March, beginning of April, we're going to say, what did we say we were going to accomplish in the first quarter of 2019? Did we accomplish it? What's outstanding? Okay, good, bad, ugly, great, beautiful, whatever. Okay, what do we need to accomplish? We know what we're trying to accomplish for the annual plan. Remember, we're completely letting go of this whole 1,000 agents. We're still working on just the annual plan. What do we now have to plan? What are our 3, 4, or 5 priorities for this upcoming quarter, for between April, May, and June? What do we have to accomplish in June? And then again in late June, July, you're going to do it for Q3, and October, November, December, late September, early October, you're going to do it for quarter 4. So you're going to have a quarterly planning meeting. Monthly planning meeting. By the way, these annual and quarterly are very strategic in nature. It may just be you if you don't have top management employees. Or it may be you and your wife, your brother, whoever, or it may be you and a couple of managers. But monthly planning meetings, these are typically held at a departmental level. If you don't have multiple departments, then you and one other person, maybe you and your salesperson, are going to have it. In the monthly planning meeting, you're going to review, how are we doing on the quarter? What do we need to do this month to be able to make sure that we are going to achieve what we need to achieve in the quarter? Same with the weekly planning meeting. What did we say we were going to do this month? Well, how are we doing on that? And usually you have some key performance indicators, like how many sales calls have we made? How many clients have quit? How many new customers have we got? What's our average project so far been? How are we doing? How are we doing? So weekly planning. And then daily huddles, little 10 to 15 minutes. We don't do daily huddles in our business. So what I've done here is I just deleted this. I just took it away from ours, but you might have daily create a strategy plan. So this is just, this is the third work plan here underneath create a vision. It really just gives you a little bit of in-depth information on what are SMART goals, how do you create goals, what are goals, they're specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. This is all from a book that we've read called Built to Last by Jim Collins, excellent book. And it's, again, all of this information is in that create a strategy plan, work plan in this process. Meeting agendas. This is the second from the bottom process tool under work plans. You'll notice here that we've got sample meeting agendas. In the first task, you'll see this might be a sample meeting agenda for your annual meeting and your quarterly meeting. And in the second task, sample meetings for monthly and weekly. Your daily huddles are going to be completely customized to who you are and what you do. These are great little agenda items, some ideas. So if you look at these meeting agendas in your annual and quarterly planning meetings, and you'll hear watch the video first work plan, you're going to hear Scott talk a lot about this, or Clayt, I mean. Clayt talks about opening the meeting with what we call positive focus. Just, what's good? What's something that's good that's happened in the last 12 months or the last month or the last 6 months, whatever. Give some positive focus. I remember in one of my meetings, I sat down and the positive focus I said was, Shannon Brody, who you may have talked to, Shannon's been my business partner for, gosh, almost 20 years, maybe 15 years. And I sat down and I recognized this in our annual meeting. I said, I want to recognize something that you and I have been business partners for 18 years. Can you believe that? That's pretty remarkable because I truly respect her. She's just been the best business partner, and that's very unusual. That's a positive thing. How relevant was it to our strategic planning? Well, it's contextual. It doesn't have to be absolutely bullet on relative to your mission, your purpose, values. It's something that's positive about the business, because you always want to start one of these heavy type meetings with something that makes you feel good. And I can tell you that made her feel good when I said that, because she hadn't thought about it. And then you go into SWOT exercises. SWOTs, if you haven't done a SWOT exercise, Martin can help you with that. It's basically strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We discuss accomplishments, discuss lessons learned, and then review the strategic issues. So these are just ideas that you can use for your ongoing annual, quarterly meetings and monthly meetings. Okay. So that is the strategic planning process. There's a little more in here. There's also a work plan on how to track and adjust so just some ideas here. If you're challenged with your strategic target, trying to understand your strategic target, you can assign this process to yourself. So let's say that, let's say that I'm the marketing and sales manager. You can assign this process to yourself, and then you can open it in your dashboard. And when you open it in your dashboard, you'll see the option here. By the way, I'm recording this, so I'll send this to you if you guys are on your account. You can open up the strategic target form, and you can just answer these questions. What will the business be like, or what will you be selling? What products and services? And you can list them in here. What will your sales be? What will your profitability be? How many employees? You can list them here. So this is a great way to sort of answer questions. And then when you're done, go up here and hit save, because this will be saved. It'll be time stamped, And now you'll have what your thinking was when you had your annual planning meeting. And next year, you can come back to this and open it up and look at it. And that's when you have these moments where you go, wow, what was I thinking when I said that? So, okay, I just want to stop. We're just 2 minutes shy of the hour, and I have a whole nother webinar to give at the top of the hours. Do we have any questions? Scott, Rebecca, any questions?
I've got a question for you. So once we get to the point of having the strategic plan done or any one of these particular processes, and we want, let's say we've got 2 or 3 other team members that we want to make sure they get that information, how do we go about setting them up so that they can get access to the information on TouchStone, and so they can go in and look at, well, what is our strategic planning, include? Right.
Okay. Well, that's actually a pretty big question for me to answer. First of all, what you'll do is you'll go to.
Oh, I know. Since we only have 2 minutes, is there a resource that you can point to?
Yeah.
And
there are a couple of things that you're going to want to do, Scott. First of all, you're going to want to set up your employees as users of your account. So if you go up into the resource center, see up here in the top right corner, it says resource center. If you click on that, it's going to open up a whole nother website called the TouchStone Help Desk. And if you click on webinars, there's a series of trainings called TouchStone Technical Trainings. And if you go to webinar number 6, it's going to teach you how to, among other things, it's going to teach you how to set up users. It's going to teach you how to assign them positions. It's going to teach them how to assign them rights, because you can control what a user can see, and you can control what a user can do with what they can see. Can they edit it? Can they edit it? Can they change it? Can they delete it, for example? Once you've set up users and you've given them rights, you have to make sure that your specific process, the strategic planning process, for example, is linked to that specific position, or you've made it a public process so everybody can see it. And then thirdly, what you want to do is you want to have an onboarding system. And as part of your onboarding system, you want steps that you walk people through your strategic vision. So there's 3 things that I'm explaining, and this will cover setting up users. I think webinar 2, and I can't remember whether it's 2, 3, or 4, talks about linking processes to users, but you can always ask a quick question to support. How do I link a process again to a user or to a position? And then an onboarding process, if you go into the 4 key functions and go to the running the business key function and go to strategic general processes, add from process library general processes, there are a whole bunch of good processes for new employee search, new employee onboarding, new employee introduction and orientation, interviewing, etc. All of the processes for, and I'm going to do another webinar on that. So you can suffice to say that that's a big question you asked, Scott. So hopefully I answered it, and feel free to follow up with me specifically, because it's sort of hard to answer in 2 minutes. But I appreciate you asking the question. I've got to jump, guys. Thank you for attending today. If you want to take this a little deeper, if you want to talk with me, just email me and say, hey, Mike, I want to go a little deeper on this, and I'll answer specific questions anytime. So thank you all for coming, and I'll make a recording of this and send it out to you, and we'll talk soon. Okay?
All right.
All right. Great, Kyle. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks,
Rebecca. Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.